Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Welcome to the Pivotal Podspective. Of course, this is the show where both Adrian and I chat to extraordinaires from every corner of the globe. If you're into flat Earth, of course, hashtag flat Earth. If you're not and you think we're in a round one, then all around the world. And we get everybody to come on and chat to us about their ways, their tips, their tricks, their pivotal ideas, their design that they use to help themselves or their clients to get themselves out there, things to help us elevate so that we can adopt them, adapt them, and pivot, and then improve. And pivot again and retry it. Anyway, I'm your host, of course, Elliot Brown, with my co-host
Adrian Nwaocha.
And our guest, female entrepreneur startup extraordinaire this evening is Abbie, I'm going to say her name wrong, Nwaocha.
Hello.
Hi, Abbie.
Hello, Abbie.
Hi. You still got the last name wrong.
I know. Listen, I mean, how many times did I try to say that beforehand?
Let's start with the lesson of not necessarily pronunciation, but just please tell people how you say your name correct.
Hi, my name is Abbie Nwaocha. If you cannot say the last name, Abbie is fine. Don't try.
I apologize, Abbie. Listen, I've got it wrong so many times now. I just get used to it. Luckily, I've got fairly broad shoulders, so I'm all right. And hopefully, I haven't offended you, which I know I haven't, because we've made friends before in the green room before we started recording.
Yeah.
Abbie, you are joining us. It's actually you're on the same timeline as Adrian. Adrian is, of course, in Romania, but you're nowhere near Romania. Same timeline, but on the other side of the equator. Tell us exactly where you are, Abbie.
Okay, so I'm in Nairobi, Kenya.
Lovely.
Yes.
And what's the weather like down there at the moment?
Dark. 11 p.m. at night. We're all asleep.
Yeah, but what about the temperatures?
What's the temperature like?
Cold, I guess.
Is it? Okay.
I think so.
What? You don't really get out much?
You don't get out much?
Nope, I don't really get out much.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll move on from the weather then, which is a boring subject anyway. So let's move on from that. But Abbie, we had a good chat before we started recording, and you work with predominantly female entrepreneurs, right?
Yes.
And you've got a marketing background. You use that and your IT and your knowledge for helping businesses. In fact, tell everybody who you've helped in the last couple of years in and around your area as well, because as we said before we started recording, it's definitely a developing business part of the world, right?
Yes.
You've got huge growth, yet to come, and challenges not unlike anywhere else. And but tell us about who you've worked with, because you've worked with some pretty interesting people, not just businesses, but in the political world. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay, so hi, I'm Abbie. I've worked with a political brand here in Kenya in the last election. So I worked with getting the governor, candidates nominated. Nominated candidates, as well as the member of the county assembly. So I've also worked with an architecture company, EDG Atelier, a construction company, Modular. I've worked with a publishing company. Now I'm getting nervous. Wow. So a publishing company for Christian books. That's Kenya Faith Writers, which is a more physical side. And Books for My Soul, which is an ebooks platform, but also Christian books. I've worked with, it's just interesting.
Wow. Okay. So there's a varied different businesses,
yes.
a broad spectrum. Right.
Yes.
But you also work with people, around the world as well. You've have clients, around the world as well that you've worked with, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So around the world, I would say Fimims, the photographer from Melbourne, St. Kilda or something. I've also worked with All Women's Talk, which is basically BuzzFeed, but on the feminine side of things. It's more like online articles and beauty and fashion and all that.
Okay. Very cool. So you work specifically, or not specifically, but predominantly with female entrepreneurs, though, right?
Yes.
And that's your thing. And you're for what's the name of
For
your
her empire?
For Her Empire. That's a great name, by the way. That is a great name. So did you came up with that on your own? Did you? Is that something that sort of just came to light, and you were like, that? That's the name I want to work with.
Kinda, basically. I didn't really do much brainstorming. Also, that was like the available domain, despite like different ideas. I was like, oh, okay, domain is available. Let's just take the name. Then boom, For Her Empire.
So it doesn't have a special meaning then?
Not really.
Okay, cool.
Okay, well, I mean, I would probably tell everybody it does have a special meaning because it's all about building empires for women. There you go. I've just done that for you. You can play that one back.
I'm going to steal that. Thank you very much.
There you go. No problem at all. We're here to help.
Yeah. Now you kind of redeemed yourself with a mistake of pronouncing the name wrong. So you're even now.
Thank God for that. I've just actually realised that I don't have my Essex Business Radio T-shirt on, but I don't think anybody would have noticed, would they, Adrian? Did you notice?
He has it on.
I just noticed the pizza that you had before the show. That was all I just noticed, to be honest. Yeah.
Before I come on, I literally, while we're in the green room, or the virtual green room as we'll call it, I was actually eating pizza still because I've been running a little bit behind today. I've been a busy boy. I've been a busy boy since 7 o'clock this morning. What are you saying? What time do you start the day, Abby?
Let's see, 6 a.m.
Ah, early start. Yeah. So and it's 11 o'clock there now. So yeah, you've had a long day as well. Adrian, what time did you start today?
I haven't really stopped today. I went to bed at maybe 2 a.m. and I woke up at 3:30. Well, at 3 a.m. because I just went with some friends on a road trip. So I had 1 hour of sleep. That's why my eyes are a bit red, but I'm fine. It's all good.
Yeah, he'll drop into yawns during the show. Don't worry about that. We are going to be moving the show actually to 7 p.m. in about a week's time. So anybody that's watching this, you want to watch it a little bit earlier, or you're listening to this, then you'll be able to watch this show in September, definitely at 7 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. But anyway, Abby, listen. Yeah. You're all about startups, yeah. Now, marketing is an absolute key part of getting a new business out there. I think you said when I asked you, you class startups as in within their first 3 years of trading, right?
Yes.
And do you prefer to have them when they've been trading for a year or so in that first 3 years, or a couple of years, or do you actually like to get hold of them in their first sort of 6 months? I mean, how do you prefer to work with people?
Or even before that?
Or before that?
Yeah, if I could before that, or in your first 6 months, I'd prefer that, because after that, you're sort of like really attached to that business idea, even when it's time to let things go a bit. So you're like really attached, you've put in so much money and effort. So it's just easier to come in before, or like the first 6 months. You're not that close to your business idea yet. I can pull you away from it.
Yeah, do you know what? It's quite a valid point as well. I think that when you have a company that's, if it's in the first couple of years, the culture already starts to have already bedded itself in, hasn't it? Even if you're a one-man bander, or you've got somebody that's got maybe a couple of staff or their partners, husband and wife. Quite often business start like that, and you've already the seeds have started growing and the bad habits have started forming, right? But if you get in an early stage, you've got a way of forming that already, planting the seeds correctly so they grow right.
Yes,
it's quite good, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's less fussy to make you change your mind.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Elliot, you're very, very zen tonight. Yeah, very inspiring. Almost like it's like Elliot's son or something like that, like Daniel's son, Elliot's son, and we have Abbie's son. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mr. Miyagi. Yeah.
Oh.
Miyagi. So what do you do? What is it that you do, Abbie? That this is what we want to know. Okay, so we've had
why you, Abbie?
Yeah, we've had some people on the show right over the last couple of months, and we're definitely getting into our groove now. But we've had some people coming on, and they reckon they've got something pivotal. They reckon they're an extraordinaire in their field, but unfortunately, they're not as extraordinary as they'd like to think they are. They don't have as many pivotal ideas or new ways, or not necessarily unique, but differentiators. And Adrian knows I love to use this word. There's a whole story behind that, which we'll say on another show at some stage. But what is it that you've got, do you think, that really helps people to take that startup and really make it happen, really leverage things? What is it that you do, Abbie? Come on, tell us.
Okay, so what I do in this case is you sort of get feedback on what exactly you're doing wrong. And that's because as somebody who has tried several business ideas and several failed, and I had to take a step back and go, well, you screwed this up. Like, what went wrong in this? And then you realize that no matter how amazing your business idea sounds to you, at some point you have to tell 3 or 4 others and get them to give you their very brutally honest opinions and just go, ugh, it's gonna fail. And then accept that to your face. And I really wish somebody had told me that, that business idea sucks, it's gonna fail. Because it did.
So basically you should tend on the idea first. Okay, good. That's a good starting point.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So failing, having 3 different amazing, thinking back on it, it was quite terrible. Business ideas and all failed. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. What made this fail? Well, I did not have I only had my perspective on how amazing this idea was. And then it's in my head, it was yeah, I got this. This idea is perfect. The heavens are speaking to me right now. The angels are all in there. But then I told someone that idea, and she's a friend of mine. She agreed to spare my feelings. I wish she had not. I definitely wish she would Abigail, calm down. You're excited, but this is a very terrible idea. Let's end this right now. So,
And she was right?
No, she was wrong because she was sparing my feelings. I wish she did not. Just tell me it sucks. Move on.
Okay.
She did not. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, but then again, it's also my fault because I only told this one person who I'm very close to, who I guess I sort of knew she would appeal to my feelings. So that's also my fault.
Yeah.
So for our empire, what we do is we get an objective feedback on that business idea you think is so amazing. So not just one person, let's say 3 or 4 people that are more inclined to be very honest with you. It's not about sort of sparing your feelings. So you have this great business idea and then you put it out to 3 people or 4 people and have them tell you, okay, this might be a good idea. Change this, tweak this. There's a business that looks exactly like yours to a T. Are you copying that? Are you sure you don't just scrape up what's there and put it in yours and go, ooh, my business idea? So for our empire, we sort of bring that to get objective feedback, then also accountability. So that promise you have made to yourself that I'm going to do this, I'm going to work on this aspect of my marketing or create this new product. You get accountability so you actually get it done, which you definitely need, which, well, I need. Is I procrastinated a lot, and it's my business. I can go whenever I want. If I don't do it, it's going to sue me anyway. Nobody. So that accountability I desperately needed. And I also have that one friend who was so nice to me. It did not work out either.
And unfortunately, and you know what? It's such a great point. It's such a great point. Such an honest point from you. And I love that. Because the thing is, when quite often people that aren't necessarily entrepreneurs, they may have maybe a creative way. They have something creative and they have an entrepreneurial flair, but have no experience in doing anything like that. Come up with a great idea, don't necessarily do the research, and of course ask their parents, ask their sister, ask their friends, and their friends will always, particularly if they're not entrepreneurial people and they're just, dare I say, normal humans, in a normal world, right? Let's say that, right? And I'm not, if I'm offending normal humans in a normal world, this probably isn't the show for you, to be fair. But if you do, you need to be asking somebody that's entrepreneurial, somebody that's got a business. There's no point asking people that don't have that experience, because more often than not, they probably will think it's a good idea, and they're going to go, "Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, you should absolutely
go for it. The best idea."
Yeah, and of course, it's not going to necessarily work. Listen, you might be really lucky. So I love the fact that you do that, and so the team you have, they've all got experience in business and things as well, right?
Yes. So I can't really just depend on just my perspective. I would need to get other perspectives, so that if I am bullshitting, just tell me I'm bullshitting. Like, yeah, this is not gonna work out. Just tell it to my face. So I can have other people around me.
Yeah. Good. That's a great honest approach. I tell you what, I wish there was more people like you helping people in business, because that is a really honest, straight up, no bullshit way of looking at it. I absolutely love that. I love that. So, and then it's a little bit like a mastermind in a way. You've got a creative collective that are going to go back and go, listen, your idea is okay, but look at it like this. Have a look at it from this point of view. Have you looked at this competition here, because they're very similar to what your business is? Oh no, I haven't. Okay, well, have a look at what they're doing. And then what would you do? What would you advise them to do if they find somebody that's similar to what they're doing? Because I'm interested in your answer on this, Abbie.
Make
it the right answer, please.
That's expected, though. Because
no pressure. Yeah, don't worry.
Literally no pressure right now. Whatever business idea you have, there's definitely something very, very close to that, and that's fine. You just have to look at that business that exists and see what part of it you're going to keep and which other parts you're going to tweak. It might be some processes that you think, okay, I could do this better. I could drop this. I could adapt it. You could still keep that business idea. Just take out a few things and change it, and it's suddenly a new idea.
Perfect answer. Adrian, we've got somebody on the nose of the hell they're talking about. We're doing okay here. We're doing okay.
Yeah, definitely. And she's young as well. And
with all due respect, Abbie, if you don't mind, are you happy to talk about your age on the show?
Age backwards, it's fine.
You're 26 years old, right?
Yes.
I mean, you're very wise. You're very wise. I mean, the fact that you've had 3 businesses failed, and you're very, very open about speaking about it. Hey, listen. Trust me. That's the best way to learn is by doing exactly what you've done in the last few years.
Okay.
No, seriously, because the best things you can ever learn is from failure. You can learn from other people, which is also very wise. But learning from your own failures, and you're very vocal with it, very upfront, very honest with it, is an endearing quality that you do not find in that many people. So if you can bring that into the business world that you are in Nairobi and Kenya and in your local areas and cities in your part of the world, then you're going to be putting entrepreneurial business women a hell of a few steps ahead than a lot of people that would do in developed business parts of the business world, like the UK, like America, because there's a lot of people that won't be as honest and straight up as you are being. So I commend you on that. Absolutely superb. So I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, but I like the way you talk. I think it's very, very cool. So you've got your marketing background. So you've got, your differentiator, as I said. So, find out what it is you want to do, what somebody else isn't doing, tweak it, perfect it, or tweak to keep tweaking it. And then what do you do? Do you then use your marketing sort of experience in a varied fields and then apply that to certain elements to their business and find the best ways of marketing it? Would that be the next step to create a strategy and a plan?
No, I wouldn't say jump straight into the marketing part of it first. I think you need to spend a lot more time on the actual business strategy, because realistically, as much as you want to serve your audience, you also want to make some money. So you have to flesh out that financial part of how exactly that money is coming in the first place and how it's going to disappear. So before you go marketing and all that, just calm down your head a bit and ask yourself, okay, how is money getting in here? What exactly am I selling? What's my price point? How much will I need to actually set up this business? Because when you have an online business, we tend to think it's quite cheap. You just pay for a hosting and a domain and then you're good to go. Doesn't work like that. There's so many expenses in there. So you have to calm down and think, okay, what exactly is going to leave my pocket right now? Put that down and be very honest about how much I'm going to part away with. In your first year of business, you won't even make that much anyway. So, but if you know how much it's going to cost you, and then you know, okay, I'm going to sell this in different price points, I can now structure my marketing to, okay, it cost me this much to set up my business. I have these different products, so different types of customers. I can now think of marketing, but first think of how money gonna come in and go out before you spend in anything else.
Good. Yeah, I mean, I'm going through the questions that we sort of asked pre the show, and I know that the financial area was it, so that's perfect. And it is. It's very, very important to do that. But a lot of people think that we've got this great idea, and they're not doing that. So I've got something we can work on here, and let's just go straight to market. It's not that. I mean, but a lot of people do. There's a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of people through lockdown, and in fact, I've seen them on social media. They suddenly want to become their own entrepreneur because lockdowns happened and redundancies are happening, and so because they don't have that, and there isn't really, I would say, clear people online that are telling you about the different steps that you need to go through. They will tend to focus on marketing. They'll tend to focus on being a business person and being, and looking at this and looking at that. But what they don't do is there's a middle part, and that middle part is very much about planning, structuring, looking at your costs, looking at your income and expenditure. And testing things as well. Take some time to test stuff as well. Even if it's a concept that you've got, try it out with people. It's not always about making money in those first, few months, those first 6 months, even the first year. You have to really got to look at that. I mean, listen, if you've got some money coming in while you're doing it, it's great, isn't it? But you've got to look at that, and it's not an easy process, and it takes way longer than anybody realizes, I think. And
yes, it does.
And by the sounds of it, you're very, very straight up and honest.
But in the same time, talking about those people, I think they need to be there. I think they need to fail first. Most of them, they're not going to listen to you, whatever you're going to say. You can be whoever you want to be, right? You can be Jeff Bezos or whatever else you want to be, whoever you want to be. But yeah, it's not really going to matter until they fail, and they're going to see that next time they need to do something a bit different, and only then probably going to listen to someone else. So they're going to start research about other things.
Yeah, it's expensive though. It's expensive to go that route.
Yeah, but it's also for those people, they don't think that they do not think about that expense, and it's not like let's be honest, I don't think you can come to me, and if I have an idea, you can force me to try to listen to you. It's just like I can be. Most of them are quite stubborn, and they're gonna go with that, and then they're gonna realize at some point, and then just okay, Abby, I think you're right. Maybe we should have a chat now.
Yeah. I can understand why they're jumping into this, because we have this idea that when you have it's called an idea, that if you have a business idea, the first thing you need to do is validate the business idea by making your first few sales, which is great. But then just because you've made your first few sales does not mean that audience is who you really want. It doesn't even mean that that's where your business is going to go anyway. Like, you could spend all that effort getting your customer, and then getting those customers, and you realize this is not where I want to go. It's so expensive to go.
Can you give us an example of someone that had an idea and they came to you and you kind of opened their mind, and then they've changed the idea into something else? Can you give us an example of that?
Okay, so let me use myself as an example. One of my wonderfully failed businesses.
Cool.
As an example.
That'll do.
That's the best one.
Yeah, best one. Yeah.
So I had this amazing business idea from one of my numerous skills, which is graphic design, which I would not say it's a passion. It's more like a desperation project.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, fully well you will not commit to this on a long time, but you have the skill, you have the resources, might as well go for it. So I had this amazing idea of graphic design. And I was not sure what direction I wanted to go, but I knew I was going in graphic design. So I figured just get 3 clients who want some design, whether it's a branding sort of for their business, or whether it's a small stuff like the merchandising aspect, working with the print on demand printers thing.
Yeah, T-shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I did that. And I did get a client who wanted to do branding. I did get to do some brochures, some logos for him. And so in my head it was validated. And the print on demand side, I did get a few orders for a hoodie I had done with my designs, like the dragon and all of that. So in my head it was like validated. 3 months afterwards, it was so emotionally and physically draining. I had no idea where to go from after that. I had not planned it. I just knew I could do graphic design, get a few clients, I would move from there. I got a few clients. Where was I moving to? I had no strategy. I had no plan beyond validate my idea.
Yeah.
So what have you done next?
Again, so what I should have done, at least what this Abigail would have told Abigail of the past, was that, okay, you're good in graphic design. Number one, can you honestly commit to this for at least 5 years? The answer is no. That's already a strike, because the answer would have been no anyway. And number two, I like graphic design, but not that much, to be honest. Like, if you told me to do a design for you,
not that passionate about it that you want to be, be doing it for years to come. No,
I like my own design. If you gave me one and I did not feel like it, I would just be grumpy. That would have been a strike.
Okay, so basically, you just want to find someone to pay you for your own designs, and you can use them however you want. Okay, got it.
Yeah, and do whenever I want, not commit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's a bit tricky. That's a bit difficult. I have to admit that. Yeah.
So that was strike one. Strike two was that I did not have any actual target audience. I had beyond somebody wants a T-shirt, a business who wants a branding. I had no actual target audience.
So you didn't have a niche or something like that.
No. Just graphic design. None of that. Yeah. And I had not even looked at other graphic designers doing the same thing to see what they were doing, seeing what they were doing right, what I could take from them. I just thought graphic design, do a design, put it out there, get a customer, call it a business. Zero research went into it. Waste of my time.
But you see, the thing is, though, you say that now because it's glaringly obvious that you should have done those things. But when you've got no experience at all and you're just going out there, I mean, kudos for you to just try and do it anyway and go, yeah, I've got a business, because you did learn very quickly from it, didn't you? But you know, in talk about these things, you're going to save people that sat there, maybe even school leavers, people that are coming out of school and go, yeah, I've got a great idea, and they're suddenly going to release a brand of caps, for example, baseball caps, until they search online and realize there are about 2 million other people doing exactly the same, because it's so easy to do it.
Yeah.
But they think, oh, well, I can get it on Instagram. I can wear a few caps and I've got 3,000 followers, and I've got my friend who is a football player to wear one. It's still not that easy. I mean, I see so many of these brands pop up doing these things and tracksuits and stuff like that. It's so easy to do it these days. So and you can make a good margin. There's better ways of doing things because you don't need to always commit. You can actually get things printed on demand. If somebody places an order, it gets printed, delivered to them. You earn some money off it. Very simple doing these things. You can test the market by doing that, by having virtually no outlay these days. So that's quite a good way of doing it. The reason I'm saying that is because people probably watching this thinking it, actually, I could do that. There are easier ways of doing it. So really what you're trying to talk about there, I think, is you need to find some passion in what you're doing, right? If you want it to be consistent and you want it to be, to have some longevity, having some passion behind what you're doing, loving what you do, and having a vested interest in it, emotionally and financially, does help. But it definitely does. And if you've got that, then there's a good chance that if you can find a niche, as Adrian very rightly said, and we hate that word to be fair, but you can find that niche.
I don't, just tell you. Yeah.
That differentiator, which I love. And you've got the passion, and you've got the drive, and you've got the foresight for it, and you've got some planning and some strategies and some direction. You've got a fairly good chance of it going at least in the right direction, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but same like Abby said. She said you try to see if you can still love that job 5 years from now on. I think that's a very, very difficult task. They can look at any job that I want in the world, and I'm not sure if I'm going to live it in 5 years.
It is for you.
No,
It is for
like
you.
your business. I mean, it will not remain the same way in 5 years. Some things will change, but you do have to be vested in it and not to just go, oh, I'm bored. Next.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say that because you guys are way younger than me. I've learned a shitload. I know where I want to go with things, to be honest.
Listen to Mr. Miyagi again. He knows what he's talking. Yeah.
I've got 20 years on Abbie, to be fair. So you know. But you know, and I'm not being funny, but it's only the last couple of years, and Adrian knows this. You know, it's only the last couple of years that probably we've got to a point where we've got something that is scalable now, is a business that is scalable, that we've got an interest in, and actually we're able to pivot quite a lot. We're able to, you know, roll with the punches. You know, take the peaks and troughs of the business world with what we're doing. And it's not about our business right now, but that's because we've looked at these and we've understood things. And of course, Adrian and I have come together and we're looking at things in a different way. So it's not always about getting it right in your 20s or your 30s. It's constantly about getting something going and then seeing if that constantly works. And if it suddenly gets to a point where it seems a bit mundane, or it starts taking a dip, just starts taking a little dip, or it's flatlining and you're not going anywhere, you know, have a look at it, reevaluate that always. It may well be that you need to change the model. It may well be that you need to change your audience, your market. There's always going to be a market, whatever you're doing, you've just got to find that. And it does change, particularly with social media now, the way advertising is done. You know, I know, and I'm sure you'll agree with this, Abbie, and I know Adrian definitely will, because I know we've talked about it to the client that Adrian has, is that you think you have the best audience sometimes, even if you've been running for 10 or 15 years. And then suddenly you realize that actually there's an audience. There is a target audience, an ideal audience for a line of products that you might have that you'd completely missed. And through looking at data and understanding what you're doing and evaluating that, I know Adrian's very much about data. It's all very much about analyzing, but being analytical and looking at those things is very cool. So do you sort of try and go over those areas when you're working with people? Because even in the first couple of years, you can change direction a good few times, can't you?
Yes. So I personally do not get as deep into the data, and I want to say common sense, but it's not that. It's more like asking you questions like, just tell me this idea and like sell it to me, so I can get past your excitement to like the actual basis of your business idea. Like when you start, you're like, oh, so excited. Then I also like know what's under all of that. Like, does it make sense? Like beyond like, I'm gonna sell this and make this amount of money. Have you thought things through? Like, do you have like an actual roadmap for what you're gonna get done this year, and what's the goal towards this year? Other than I'm gonna create this product, I'm gonna market it. Like, you need to have something more substantial than just your excitement going on.
Yeah, for sure. We have my mum has sent watching you as usual, she's saying hi from Spain. Hi, Mum.
Hello, Elliot's mum.
Very quiet out there this evening, guys. If you want to ask a question, ask us a question, ask Abbie a question, then please drop it in the comments, and they'll bring that up on screen and say hi to give you a shout out. So what is it that you're going to be doing? You know, obviously COVID has affected you know, people all over the world. What are your plans of working with people through this, even if they're starting up and have been starting up through this unprecedented time in our lives?
I hate that word. It's everywhere.
Me too. But you know, what is it that you sort of your plans are, your sort of the way that you want to move forward to help your clients?
Okay. So because of COVID and because of the economy, from my perspective, you don't have that much resources or finances to waste as you would have. You don't really have that much time to throw money at something and then wait to see what works and what doesn't work. Everyone right now is trying to conserve and spend less and really keep things back. And then, so if you have a business idea, I'm not trying to discourage you and tell you don't go for it, but maybe just stop. I write it down after all that excitement is past, and look at this business idea and just ask yourself, how exactly is money coming into this business, and write all the potential revenue streams, both the one that's down and the one that you plan to one day have. Just put that all of them down there. Then look at it. Which one's actually feasible right now? Which one, given the current direction, is a good move to have? And which one can you put on the back burner and later have it done?
Mm-hmm.
And given the economy right now, it's always a good idea to have different price points, like your low tier products or service, your mid tier products, and then the more high end stuff. Because if you start a business right now and you put coaching in there, which is great, everybody's a coach these days.
Yeah, very true.
And so I'm going to be very skeptical to just hire a coach, but if your low tier product and your mid tier product is there, you can still have those potential streams. So have all of that and then move towards that your high tier product. Don't throw in everything you have into this coaching thing, because the market, everyone is a coach. Like, I go on a Facebook group and then there are like 25 coaches in there, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, it's saturated. It's saturated with coaches.
It's way easier than any school or university, you know. So that's why after watching about 5 minutes of a video on YouTube, you can really become a coach, especially on playing the play button. That's really good coach to be.
We're very cynical. We're very cynical coaches.
Yeah.
There's way too many coaches out there, you know. And quite clearly globally as well. I mean, you know, they're everywhere. They're 10 a penny now. And the thing is, getting a decent one, you know, people then bulk when they want to pay, you know, because a decent coach, they're not cheap, you know, and they're not cheap for a reason, because their time is worth the money. And if you take on board what a decent coach, a real coach will impart to you, it's not about them telling you what to do. It's about them coaching out of you the best things. If you think, you know, if people think about this and they don't really know the world of coaching and they're new to the world of business, they think about a coach in sports. They don't tell you how to kick a ball. They'll advise you. It's down to you to kick that ball. You know, it's down to you if you're kicking a football or a rugby ball or whatever it is that you may be doing, or running. You know, a coach can only get out of you the best that you can possibly get out of you. It can't do it for you. And it definitely cannot make you do things, because the coach isn't going to be there 24/7. So it's about coaching the best ideas out of you, the best performance out of you as well. And so that is why we are very, very skeptical about coaches. We've seen so
am I.
Oh, you know,
don't worry, but it doesn't matter. Just leave the coaches and coach themselves.
Yeah. Oh, it's just I don't know. I just feel very cynical when I see one, and you're like, okay, all right, thank you. Like, close the box. Really.
I'm curious on what do people in Nairobi, Kenya, try to do now, or when they come up with ideas, what those ideas are mainly focused on, or either what type of business, or is more toward physical products, or like digital products and stuff like that, services, and what they do.
Okay, so because of COVID and because of the restrictions right now on physical interactions, we are trying, and emphasis on trying, to move towards the digital side, but it's not really that successful. Like, as of right now in August, we've gotten to the whole I don't give a shit part of COVID, where even the masks, no one wants to wear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so even though we are trying to come to the digital side, it's not really working. Every business is trying to be more online, to have their services open on e-commerce and on their website, but the trust is not quite there yet.
Yeah.
So customers still want to go in person, and me, I don't want to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So we've just gotten over it. Like, we're gonna die someday.
Which is true.
It's very true. It's very, very true. It's very true. So I mean, we're talking about, obviously, you know, retail and you know, video games, and I was in that industry for years, and obviously know that it's a very, very, very much a physical environment. It's not really an online shop environment, to be honest. They like to go in and buy things physically.
Yes.
You know, I think we went that way a few years ago. I say we as in, our local market, the UK market. America, I can't speak for because, I know what goes on over there, but we're quite similar. But Europe and the UK, where everything sort of went online. Then there was a resurge of retail, but now there's definitely gone back online again, and more than ever. So this has really changed business in this part of the world, Europe for sure. So it's interesting to see that hasn't actually affected your physical retail. So you're very busy on the retail side still. So people are still going to shops and buying, and doing that as well. I mean, that's quite interesting. Do you think there's a generation that will start changing and start buying more online, or do you think that's sort of quite a long way to go?
Yeah, they will. When it comes to online shopping here in Kenya, the biggest platform is Jumia. I don't know if Jumia is there. I know it's more of an African brand.
No, it's not, but I've heard about Jumia. It's more like almost like the Alibaba, but for Africa, basically. Yeah, I looked at a documentary about that at some point.
Yes. Okay. And that's one of the very few trusted e-commerce platforms here in Kenya. So others, even myself, when I shop online, I will be very skeptical of putting any money anywhere near there.
Really? Why? Just because you don't have measures or like protection, or why would you?
Trust issues.
Yeah, like I said, trust issues just because, and also maybe if the platform is not fully developed to cover you with the money in case something goes wrong. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? That there's just not very many established online retailers? Is that it, or is you just have a sort of an ingrained distrust for not having something physical in your hand?
There are not so many, and the few that have popped up have not really stayed long enough to build the trust that Jumia has. And if you made the mistake of checking the online reviews, that just scares you off.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting. I mean, it's an interesting market that I will definitely be keeping an eye on and seeing how that develops, because there will be a time where that will change.
Yes.
And of course that will definitely change. Amazon is the one place I buy from. I still don't buy much online, to be fair. I mean, if I will buy from Amazon because I trust it. And it's weird because I've always liked to, close shop physically, and virtually everything physical buying. I haven't really bought much in the last 6 or 8 months. I haven't needed to be fair. But if I had, I'll go to Amazon. If I know big brand shops that have got a sale on, then I'll do that. But I still like to go and physically touch things and buy stuff, to be honest. So there's something about
opposite of that. I don't like going anywhere.
Well, no, but you don't even know what the temperature's like outside, for God's sake.
Yeah. I think you need to get outside a bit more. Yeah,
you need to get out more. Listen, Abbie. I really enjoyed our chat this evening. You've got loads of energy. In fact, you've got a great deal of experience for someone so young. We're definitely going to be keeping an eye on what you do. And
I guess Elliot does that.
Hey, listen, it does. It absolutely does. It ages you mentally, which is a good thing. As long as it doesn't do it physically, that's fine. But it's all good. Listen, I love what you're doing. I think you have actually genuinely got some great insight into helping female entrepreneurs that want to get themselves out there in and around your area. In fact, globally, I mean, why not? I mean, there's some young entrepreneurs that can learn a hell of a lot from you. So where can people find you, Abbie?
Okay. You can find me on forherempire.com. That's my website. And then I try to be online on social media like an hour a day, mostly Instagram. So it's instagram.com/forherempire. You can find me there.
Okay.
Just those two. I'm on other platforms, but not as active in social media. I realized it took so much effort.
I tell you what, you really are straight to the point. I genuinely love your no bullshit approach to life. That is absolutely superb. It's a breath of fresh air, isn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, definitely. And it's good to see someone that honest, just like
It's very, very cool. Well, listen, thanks very much for joining us. I really, really appreciate it. I've really enjoyed our time this evening. If you want to know more about what we're doing here at Essex Business Radio and the guests that we're going to be getting on, and we've got some great stuff lined up. We are going to be changing the times of the show, so to 7 o'clock, probably from the end of next week, I believe, so maybe the following week, but I will tell you more about it on the next couple of shows. We have got some news, which I did want to tell you guys about as well, about Essex Business Radio, but I think we're going to leave it till next week because I've still got to polish a few things up. I'm just going to keep the momentum going on that. I'm just going to keep telling you little tidbits here and there. But we are changing the format of Essex Business Radio. That's what I'm going to tell you for now. And it's going to be pretty exciting. It's going to be even more entertaining. And there's going to be more podcasts coming on our platform. So it's very, very cool, very exciting. We'll let you know all about that over the next week or two. Adrian and I are going to be definitely doing this from 7 o'clock in a couple of weeks' time, which you're really looking forward to, mate, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm not going to have red eyes anymore. And about the news, we're just going to give you a hint. He's not going to go Pete Hong, or maybe he's going to go Pete Hong. Yeah, take it from there, whatever you want.
That's it.
Some people will get that, some people won't.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's hope it doesn't go Pete Tong anyway. No, it won't.
It's more for people in UK. It took me a few years to learn until what going Pete Tong means.
Yeah, cool. So listen, if you want to know more about what we are doing, then check out our social media. We've been a little bit quiet on it recently because we're lining up for some very, very cool and very interesting stuff that we're going to be putting out. But you can find us across all social media, Essex Business Radio, apart from Pinterest and apart from TikTok, which we will be doing TikTok next month when we do some changes that are going on as well. So it's all Essex Business Radio, apart from Twitter, which is Essex Biz Radio, BIZZ. And if you're going to go and you're watching this on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, of course, make sure you subscribe, smash the like button, and make sure you get alerted on Facebook as well. So make sure you're on there. We are going across 7 platforms at the moment. Got loads of news to come, and we've got another guest tomorrow night at 9 p.m. So check out our Facebook and stuff a couple of hours beforehand, and we'll let you know who's coming on the show. Thanks very much, Abbie.
No, nice
Thank you, Abbie. Thank you. Thanks,
Adrian. You've been watching and listening to the Pivotal Podspective with both myself, Adrian Dorobantu, and Abbie from Nairobi in Kenya. So we're going to sign off for now, and I'm going to say, as I always do, ciao for now.
Brown cow. Bye, Abbie.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, how's that?